Hi class, Professor Dockray here again. So I'm going to take you on a sort of tour of our Canvas course and really show you how to use it effectively while you're here in SLS. I also want to note that I am using the Student View feature that faculty members have in Canvas, but I still don't think it quite looks like yours. So some of the toolbars and things may look a little off, but everything I'm going to interact with should be included in your view as well. So I'm going to start with our assignment dates. Arguably one of the most important things in our Canvas shell would be at the bottom of the sort of landing page, the home page, and that's the red button that says Weekly Module Due Dates. So this is a calendar that tells you what we'll be doing every week and when what assignments are due. In the beginning, you can see that it's pretty easy. Week 1 is Module 1, Week 2 is Module 2, but as we go on, at times there are multiple modules or modules that are spread through more than 1 week. So this is a really important document for you to keep track of, either print it out or maybe download a copy to your computer, because again, it tells you what module to look at. So you can see for Week 1, that goes January 7th through January 13th. We're working on Module 1, and within Module 1, you'll find these 3 assignments due: the discussion board, the syllabus quiz, and the online readiness assignment. Discussion boards are fairly simple. You leave your response and then you have to respond to 2 of your classmates. The syllabus quiz is just something that we give out to make sure that you're reading it. And the online readiness assignment is an assignment to make sure you know how to create a Word document, upload it, and submit it. That saves us a lot of trouble down the line. So this week's got a bit of a throwaway week. But it's important for you to have a little bit of an easier workload this week to get oriented with the course, play around, press some buttons, and kind of see how it works for you. You can see next week we'll start on January 14th and go through January 20th. You're reading Module 2, which is all about time management. You can then see in the right column the 2 assignments that are connected to that module. It's really important as you're going through the course and the content that you look through the modules first before running right to the assignment. Every semester there's always a few students who just refuse to read the module, and I can always tell because they're usually the students who are emailing me asking all about an assignment when the information's in the module. So always use the modules first. Of course, if you still have questions after that, feel free to ask. But most of the information you'll need to complete the assignments are going to be inside the module. So once you know the weekly dates, you're probably not going to click that every single time you enter the course, but once you have that, you can just use the modules link on the left side navigation. That takes you to the long list of modules. And so for this week, in Week 1, you would just click into Module 1. So you can look through here. It kind of gives you a preview. You're going to have the learning activity, and here's the graded activities. And you just click Next at the bottom of the page till you go all the way through the module. I'm not going to go all the way through the module. But again, think of the module sort of like the lecture, or if we were a face-to-face class, kind of the content, what we talk about, and then the assignment would be like the work you would do after we talked about it. So when it comes to assignments, everything is due at the end of the week. So every Sunday at 11:59 p.m. you have an assignment due, with the exception of spring break. And then at the end of the semester, as you're working on your final project, they do give you some time to work on that as well. But just about every week you'll have an assignment due on Sunday. So each module opens Monday, and then you have until Sunday evening to complete it. In addition, because I do know some online students work pretty fast, or you're taking online courses because you plan to go on a trip or you're moving out of state, I do open modules up to 1 week in advance, so that makes it a little easier to catch up and get ahead of yourself. in the course, but I don't like to open more than one module ahead because I often send these little videos or emails every single week to kind of give some tips and a little more insight into the week's topic. So if you get too far ahead of yourself, you may miss that and not be able to do the assignment properly. I also do accept late work. The trick is that you have 3 days to complete it late. So since everything's due Sunday, if you turn it in on Monday, you're allowed to, but you have a 10% deduction off your grade, not 10% from 100, unless you would have received a 100. So Tuesday you get 20% off, and by Wednesday you have 30% off. After the Wednesday it's due, you can no longer turn in late work. The only I guess really the only exception to that rule would be if you communicate with me before it's due. If you email me 2 weeks after it's due and talk about how you had a rough week that week, I'm not going to be as forgiving as if you email me a week before it's due and explain that you have a lot going on. Other than that, the other few things I really want to emphasize are the announcements. So I will post an announcement every single week that explains what's due and give a little bit of, as I mentioned, kind of tips or tricks or some kind of help to complete the assignment. You can find the assignments by the announcements by clicking on the announcements link, or you'll notice when you're on the home page, the newest announcement is always popped up here at the top. So if you have the little blue dot next to it, that means you haven't read it yet. The other thing you'll want to do on a regular basis is check your grades. I try to keep up on grading pretty fast, so if you submit something, I'm going to grade it right away. Don't think, you can come back and edit it in a few days. It's probably going to get graded by then. But I want you to check your grades. I try, depending on the assignment, to leave meaningful feedback in your assignments. If it's a discussion board post, I'm probably not going to have much to say. But, for an example, next week on your weekly schedule, I might have a comment or two on how to rearrange your schedule or perhaps praise of something you do that I think is very effective. That's also important because there will be times when you try to submit, say, a PDF and it's blank, or you accidentally submit in a different format of document that I can't open. In the past, I've followed up with students individually when that happens, but without fail, I always forget, or something happens, or I get interrupted here at the library. So I will just give you a 0 for that assignment, but leave you a comment to update it or fix whatever issue's happening. But if you don't go back and look at the grade book for 3 to 4 weeks, you're never going to see that 0, and then it's going to be too late to fix it. So always check the announcements and always check the grade book to make sure things are being graded, make sure I didn't miss your assignment somehow. Read those comments that I leave you. Maybe I misunderstood a part of your assignment and docked your grade for it. So keep up with that and don't be afraid to contact me if I made a mistake or something like that. The last thing I want to mention are my office hours. So for this course, I'm available Mondays and Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Since we're an online course, though, you can pretty well just email me at any time and I'll answer it as soon as I can. To try to keep us a little closer together and communicate better, you'll notice in Canvas there's a section in the left navigation called Conferences. And that's a tool that, see, I'm in student view, so I can't show you. But once you click Conferences, you'll see that there are sections, kind of like a webinar or a Google Hangout, where a bunch of people can join in the same room and chat with each other, or video chat. So I'm going to try once a month to have a conference. So I scheduled one already for the course for January 21st. So on that date, at that time, you'll see it's in the conference section. You probably got an email when I added the conference earlier. You can come into the conference room, either chat with me casually or your classmates, It's a good time to ask questions about assignment requirements or maybe something that's confusing you in the course. Email's fine, but sometimes things get lost in translation. So that's one more piece to know about. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me through email. I get my email on my phone, so I'm pretty well always checking it whenever my phone is in my hand, which is always, like most of you. So you can reach out to me through my email address or just use the Canvas inbox feature to send me a message. And I hope you have a very successful semester. Thank you, guys.